Hello, my name is Rima Budvytyte and you're listening to Sentient, a new series of podcasts by Enterprise Lithuania, where we will discuss how life sciences improve our living. Indeed, the pursuit of any scientific endeavor is noble, but life sciences are particularly special. They pervade so many aspects of our lives, from healthcare to debates about stem cell research and genetic testing. While dramatic scientific progress has been made in recent decades, so much remains unknown. Yet the knowledge we've gathered has opened up a new world, giving us unique ways of solving problems. Sentient will reveal the potential, development and innovative solutions of the Lithuanian life sciences sector. My guest today is biochemist Rima Budvytyte at the Vilnius University Life Sciences Center. Her research interests include surface biophysics, artificial membranes and neuroscience. Rima focuses mainly on neurodegenerative diseases, so I invited her to tell us more about her studies and why curing neurodegenerative diseases is such a complex matter. Hello Rima, very pleased to have you on Sentient.
Hello.
In 2020, you were honored by the L'Oréal Baltic Program for Women in Science for your scientific achievements. Could you tell me more about the research that was selected for the program?
To get the L'Oréal UNESCO Fellowship was a great honor for me. It was like a proof that my research is relevant and it's important.
Globally important.
Yeah, it's true. And so the my research is focused on the neurogeneration diseases and how and the mechanisms how the disease is starting. So mainly neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer or Parkinson is characterized by the neuron loss in the brain. So the neuron loss is associated with some certain proteins called amyloids, and these amyloids are small peptides that have a tendency to accumulate in the brain. And when they accumulate in the brain, they damage the neurons. So my main research area is focused directly to investigate this interaction between those oligomers, these protein aggregates, and the membrane, cell membrane. So, and we believe that this is one of the essential points and cause of the neurodegeneration disease.
Mm-hmm. What interesting have you found so far, if you have, of course?
Yeah, we do found a lot of important information, of course. And we found how these amyloid, this protein, are specific to specific lipids. So there are specific lipids that interact only with these proteins. So we try to create specific membranes to find out which component is responsible for this interaction. And we also found that some of the species of these amyloid oligomers are creating the pores in the membrane. I mean, creating the holes in the membrane. So
what do these holes do?
Yeah, they interact with the membrane and then they insert in the membrane and create the channel in the membrane. Oh. So it means it's that the homeostasis of the cell is disrupted. So this is why neurons are dying because of those holes, and then they cannot control the ion movement. Yeah. So this, I think, we also collaborate with some groups from United States, because during my PhD studies, I had the possibility to visit their labs, also work with several labs in United States. So we still keep collaborate with them, and we have some projects going on together. So we hope that we will find more information about this interaction.
Could you elaborate what neurodegenerative disease research is being conducted in Lithuania?
Yeah, there are some groups working in this area. There are Neuroscience Institute in Kaunas, so I think they're working more with the patients. They're working with the treatment of the disease. In the several groups in the Life Science Center working on the mechanisms, how disease is starting, what is the causes of the diseases. So also there are some interesting work done at Life Sciences Center that there is a group that works how microbiota from the gut have some impact in the neuropsychotic diseases.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's very interesting work, I think. So I hope they will get very nice results, and we will have more information about this, because there are some scientific evidences that that suggests that there are some links between the gut, the microbiota in your gut, and also the diseases that develop in the brain. So
everything's
yeah,
related.
there are some links.
You mentioned a little bit before that you collaborate with different laboratories from the US. Is that a common thing that Lithuanian scientists collaborate with the international laboratories, or is it like an exception?
No, I think nowadays I think it's very common. So every group, at least at Life Sciences Center, collaborate with some groups, and I think it's essential to collaborate with the groups from foreign countries. Also, example. Every year, scientists from the field of the neurogeneration meets each other at the international conferences. They present the work, they discuss the new findings, they exchange ideas, and I think it is essential to just have a meaningful progress in this field. And also multidisciplinary approach is essential for this field, because it's very important to collaborate with the different scientists from different fields to get the more rounded information about the disease. Because it's important to collaborate with the physicists, because they have some knowledge about the unique instrumentation, and also to combine with the biochemists that has some knowledge about the biochemical events that are happening in the brain.
Probably it's good to understand that diseases such as neurodegenerative diseases, they are not Lithuanian diseases. They are diseases for our planet Earth.
Yeah,
so collaborations are super important. So what would you say are Lithuania's strengths in the research of neurodegenerative diseases?
In general, life sciences in Lithuania is the mostly growing sector in Lithuania, in life sciences. So I think the big strength of Lithuania is that we are a small country, and we do have a well-organized logistics, also very friendly and favorable environment. We have a lot of talented scientists around. And also our ability to respond very quickly and to promote some dynamic formation of the new research priorities depending on the situation makes us strong, because we are small and we can act very quickly.
Why is it so difficult to understand neurodegenerative diseases completely?
Yeah, it is a hard task, because it's a complex disease. So as I mentioned before, there is also a link between your gut and the brain, and it's very complex. It could be like 20, 30 factors that could be involved in
one disease for one person.
Yes.
And that factors, they vary depending on the person.
It also depends from the lifestyle of the person, from some genetic like factors.
So there could be thousands of factors.
Yeah, and this is
globally.
why it's hard to find new like therapies or drugs for this disease, because it's very complex. And many laboratories like working on this topic from different perspectives. It's very hard to gather this information in one like picture. So this is why I think it's hard to develop some new drugs.
You mean one lab finds something interesting, then another lab finds something interesting, but they don't connect the dots. So we need some maybe system to connect it, like artificial intelligence, maybe?
Yeah, it could help, because now it's very promising field of artificial intelligence, and I think it could help at least to put
processing
information
the data,
together. Yeah.
What is that we don't know about neurodegenerative diseases that would really remarkably help us curing them?
However, the disease is incurable, but the new knowledge about the biological and molecular level of the disease and how it's starting these diseases allow us to develop new therapies and drugs. And nowadays, the most challenge for researchers are to develop like diagnostic methods that allow us to be diagnosed at the very early stage of the disease. This is important because it could be essential point for disease, because now when disease are diagnosed, we are like in very early stage of the disease, and it's too late to maybe treat it. So it's very important to find some new diagnostic that could allow us to just detect the disease at the beginning. And so this is the most, I think, the most problem in this field, because it's people are diagnosed too late.
What do you mean by too late? The disease has progressed
yes,
too far?
The disease are like usually the neurodegenerative diseases. They're not starting just now I'm sick. They're starting
process.
like 20, 30 years. They can develop, and then only signs you can see after like 20, 30 years of the disease. You can have it, but you cannot feel it. And when you feel it, then it's too late to do something, because it's already spread in your brain. So now scientists are working just to create like very sensitive instruments, sensitive diagnostic methods to create it at very early stage of the disease.
Is that true that neurodegenerative diseases are only relevant for elderly? For example, I'm 32. Am I in a risk group or not? Should I somehow go to a doctor and check myself or not?
Usually, it is an old age disease. It occurs around the age of 70. But also there is evidence that now it's starting to become younger. So it means that it moves towards 60s. Also, there are some cases that patients were diagnosed at their 40s. So it is the problem that maybe the disease getting younger. Maybe 30s there is no anybody with 30s, but 40s there are some cases already.
Is that a disease is getting younger, or our diagnostics are getting better?
Yeah, for sure diagnostics are getting better. A lot of scientists working on that, so for sure this is the reason. But mostly, I think in modern world, the quality of life is improving. So it means that the average age of the population is increasing as well. So in long term, the people with Alzheimer will increase as well. The number of people with Alzheimer will increase as well. So it's also the people are getting older because the improving in our quality of life. And the more people will be sick. And also, according to these epidemiological studies, there will be around 30 million people in Europe with Alzheimer's in 2040.
How many do we have now?
And this is 6.5% of total population of European Union.
Wow.
So it's a huge numbers, and there are a lot of, I think, projects, and European Union are like encouraging to put all efforts to research this disease and try to find some new drugs for the treatment.
So on one hand, it is good that our quality of life is improving, but on the other, it means that more people are getting the disease.
Yeah, it also, there are some risk groups that could have this disease.
What others?
Like more. So there are some like risk groups that, example, there are some risk factors that we cannot control. So it means there are like genetic factors, there are like traumatic injuries, there are viruses, and so on.
Viruses like, for example, COVID-19?
It could be. There are no, because it's very new, diseases, so there are no many information about it. But still, already there are some research done, I think, and there's some links between some neurogeneration and COVID. But this is very young disease, so the neurogeneration disease it develops for a long time, so it's hard to tell how it will be, how it affects. But there are some risk factors that we can control, and those are like very simple ones. Example like quality of sleep, physical activity, mental activity, also healthy aging. So those is the main factors that we can control, and we can maybe reduce the risk to have this disease in the future.
I would like to elaborate on each of the factors. You said enough good quality of sleep. What does that mean?
That means our brain is healthy. So it means...
How long do we need to sleep?
Every person has different abilities, but in general it should be 7-8 hours. But of course, it's very individually, but the average is around 7-8 hours. So then, of course, we need to use our brain even in the old ages. So
you mean mental exercises?
Yes, mental
like
crosswords.
crosswords.
Yeah, and also there are some research. It was proven that the people with a higher education has a better brain, the better trained brain. So also it is suggested for all people to keep reading books and stay mental active till the very end. So because it helps and has the very positive impact in the development of the neurogeneration.
What about physical exercise?
Yes, physical exercise is also one of the essential. It also requires for the brain because the brain needs more oxygen to keep to be healthy, and also it's also suggested because especially old people, they cannot do many exercises. They cannot maybe do very intense exercises. So at least they should go for a walk, to go outside, be outside, and just keep moving. So it also helps.
What about younger people? For example, our generation. Is there anything we can do except for having a good night's sleep?
Yeah, it's the same. Physical activities, mental activities. We need to maybe we need to reduce the time with the computer or with the phones, and maybe try to remember things without any help. So those are simple factors also for us.
So the fact that I have my computer in front of me, not to forget the questions that I wanted to ask you, is a bad thing. I should keep on training my brain.
Yeah, sometimes. Maybe during your free time, you at least should maybe try to remember things by yourself.
That's a good advice. In one of your interviews, you pointed out an interesting fact that around 60% of scientists in Lithuania are women. But like probably 2 years ago, I read this interesting report that stated that that women who have the same work experience, professional experience, and the same academic background, it means the same academic degree, for example, still earn 25% less than men. Do you feel, have you ever noticed this like a problem, or should we only now focus on the positive side that more women are in science, although they are earning less?
Yeah, yeah, it's true that in this European Union statistics, in the terms of the number of the women in science, we are leading. So, but this discrimination against the women still in the science, in the world of science, still exists. So, but it's also I noticed that recently, at least in Lithuania, there are some conditions or tools, to make it, the better conditions to combine the motherhood and also the scientific career. So this is at least it's very promising that the situation is getting better. And also I noticed by myself that women are now increasingly occupying very high academic positions. So that is very, I think,
but still,
nice
Vilnius
thing.
University has never been headed by a woman.
Not yet, maybe.
In 500 or 600 years, how long?
yeah, but maybe not yet. Maybe it will come soon, I think. Because now I see that more and more women are going to have those higher positions.
Have you ever been mistreated in any way in your scientific career just because you're a woman?
No, personally, I never had this experience. So maybe I was lucky, but I think I always was treated
respectfully.
Respectfully.
That's very nice to know, because maybe that also depends on the scientific academic sector that you're working in.
True.
For example, I encountered probably more women that has been mistreated in some way by their colleagues or by their managers, for example, just because they are women from physical sciences.
Yeah, it's true. I also heard those stories.
So it's a good tendency if life sciences are on a better path.
Okay.
Now let's go back to academia and private sectors collaborating. How can academic and private sectors collaborate regarding neurodegenerative disease research, curing them, diagnostics, and so on?
Yes, I think companies could make a very strong contribution to the development of new diagnostic methods, of course, new instrumentation, because they have all equipment to do that, yet they have maybe more money to invest in those in those instruments. And I think the symbiosis between the science and business are needed for both sides. And also a lot of my scientific colleagues turn to the business, and now I think they are very successful and makes very good science from this symbiosis.
Do you know any success story that you could mention from the collaboration in Lithuania, for example, that you know of?
Personally, now I don't remember such a, but there are at least some successful companies at Life Science Center that they work and collaborate with the companies and they make a good science from that. So I don't maybe remember the correct one.
And you stayed in academia instead of going to private sector. What were your reasons to do that?
When I finished the PhD, I did my postdoc in Denmark, in Copenhagen. So, but I think the symbiosis between the science and business are needed for both sides. So I think the symbiosis between the science and business are very successful and makes very good science from this symbiosis. when I finished my postdoc, I had a suggestion to stay in the Copenhagen and maybe work in the company. But just I decided that I wanna maybe will stay in the research and to also I knew that the Life Sciences Center was created, and I had the invite to come back, and it was very nice to hear, and also I was very excited to come back and to create my own laboratory and continue my research. So
in Lithuania.
In Lithuania, yeah. So I came back, and I wanted to stay in research.
What are your plans for upcoming years?
Like always in science, you learn more, then the more questions arises. So it's always like never-ending story.
Like a curiosity story.
Yeah, it's always like that. So our team will be working on this mechanism to understand the mechanism of the neurogeneration. We will be working on this interaction between these proteins and membranes. Also, we are planning to use the unique biophysical methods such as cryomicroscopy or neutron reflectometry to get more structural information about the proteins itself, but also about the interaction. It means that how the interaction happens and who is responsible for that interaction. So we hope and we believe that this information at the molecular level could help to understand the mechanism of the diseases.
So thank you very much for coming, and good luck on your research and on your future plans. And probably the best we, not scientists, can do, as per other diseases as well, is to try and stay healthy while you scientists do your job and find the cure or find the mechanisms why neurodegenerative diseases happen. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me. It was very nice to talk with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The podcast is brought to you by Life Sciences Baltic, the largest international life sciences forum in the Baltic countries, organized by Enterprise Lithuania, funded by the European Union structural funds. While presenting the potential of the Lithuanian life sciences sector, the forum provides different digital experiences for life sciences companies, startups and academia. Join us on September 20 to 24 and turn new connections into meaningful projects. We are not just the stuff that dreams are made on, we are the stuff that DNA is made on. Life science is simply the basis of our body and brain function, so it should be important to us if we want to better know ourselves. Tune in next time for more on Sentient by Enterprise Lithuania.